Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Welcome back to my channel for another card making video. Today I am using a variety of products that I have picked from today's project share that I shared this morning. So me and three of my crafty friends do a little project share, and I started running this little sort of mini series on the back of that, where I take elements from their projects and try and do something else with them. So today I have picked out the Poinsettia Petals, Stamps and Dies, the bundle. So buy both together and you will save 10%. Really great set. So this is the set that Jez has used today. She's just used the sentiment from this set, but I have been dying to use the poinsettia, so I'm going to use that instead of her featured stamp set, which was the jar of lots to celebrate stamp set, which is a set I don't have. So I'm substituting that and using this one that she used. Really great set. My downline loves poinsettias, so it's a shout out to you as well, T. Dies are really brilliant as well. I'm just using one of them to cut out one of the images today, but I'm sure there'll be more to come with that. So that's that. Heather's card used the Playing with Patterns set, so she used the DSP, and this is one piece from that DSP, so this happens to have this on the back, but I've picked out this colour to work with because I'm going with a Christmassy theme. So all of the colours, so the colours that are in that pack, which is here, is Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Crush Curry, Night of Navy, Purple Posy, Whisper White, and it's all really bright and colourful, but I picked out that one to work with, a little less busy, and like I say, because we're going with a Christmas theme, I thought it fitted a little better. So that's the piece of paper we're working with, and she used the coordinating little resin dots, so these are really cool, and they have the three matching colours, so Coastal Cabana, Crush Curry, Purple Posy, but these aren't shiny at all, they're a matte finish. So if you're not really keen on super shiny things, see, they just don't shine at all. But I think that's really nice, and they're really smooth. They're really nice. So we're going to use those as our embellishments. And then Jill used this Dainty Diamonds embossing folder in the background of her card. So she's featured the tags stamp set with all the stockings in and stuff, and did some paper piecing, not piercing, piecing. I don't have that set at all, but I liked the fact that she did this layout with the patterned paper and then a strip of embossed cardstock across the background, so I'm going to use that portion of her card, so the embossing folder and that sort of striped layout. So that's what we're doing. I think what we'll do is, while we've got this here, I think I might just emboss this strip of cardstock, which I have cut. I'm going to be putting it on as a layer, so I've actually cut it to 4 1/8, and I'm actually going to try and get that something like straight in the embossing folder, because there are some lines on it. So if it's not straight, it will show. That's easier said than done. Do you know what? I think what we might need is just a smidge of that tape on the back there, and we'll secure it in the embossing folder. I'm just lining it up with the pattern on the back there. So that's held that in place. So what I've tried to do there is make sure that these sort of lines in the pattern, so there's a line in the pattern there, are kind of running straight with the cardstock. So I'm just going to move some other pieces out of the way, because I've changed the order I was going to do things in. So with the new cut and emboss machine, you always need the base plate. I do not need the number 2 plate because I am not die cutting. Okay, so for thin, so for 3D embossing folders, which is this one, I need plate 1, which is this, and then I need my number 4 plate. So I need to get rid of my number 3s, and I'm going to bring in my grey plate, which is my number 4 plate. So that's the sandwich I need to do the embossing for this, like so. Just run that through my machine, which is just off to my side here. Straight through. And I've got a beautifully embossed image. Isn't that stunning? Really beautiful. Really beautiful. And the deboss side's actually quite nice as well, if you fancied using the deboss side. Just, there we are. Isn't that amazing? Looks like I know what that looks like. That looks like that posh toilet paper, doesn't it? Anyway, right. Put those away. And put my embossing folder away so it's not in from the desk. I shall be die cutting in a moment, so I'm going to put my base platform back on. I'm going to put back my number 2 thin die adapter plate and my cutting plate. I'm going to set those ready on the machine, ready for later. Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll layer up our card base. So I'm just going to use a white card base, my usual size, and then the paper, I really like the fact it's got these stripes across it, and I think I want to have this light stripe at the top, then have that across the middle. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches, so I've just got a tiny white border, not much of a border at all. So I've got this nice strip of paper that can be used for something else, and then it will be 5 3/4 high. Okay, for those of you who need the metric, it's about 10.2 by 14.6. Let's put that away. Now before I stick that on, I am going to adhere my emboss panel, which I know is longer than it needs to be, so I can make sure it's all... Sometimes when you emboss cardstock it just sort of stretches and warps a little bit, so I wanted it longer so I could trim it back. So that's going to go on there, and I'm going to use a little bit of wet glue because of that texture, and it'll give me just a smidge of wriggle room as well. Using my grid paper to make sure the paper's straight, and then lining that up. I think about here. Just going to hold that down for a moment. And then I can use my scissors cut away that excess so that I know I've got a nice flush finish. Okay, and then we can stick that straight to our card base. Right, I'm hoping that me and Stampin' Seal are starting to get on a little bit better as well. All the links, by the way, to the inspiration post, so or the project share post, will be in the description bar, so you can go and look at what the ladies created with their products. Liking that. So I had the idea in my head, but wasn't super sure how it was going to turn out. So okay. I feel like I need a strip of something either side of that. Now, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of these. So I'm going to use the poinsettias, which I'm going to just quickly show you how I coloured those in, using the markers, and quickly die cut them out. I'm just wondering whether a strip of some real red either end of that would be nice, just to frame that up. I think that would look cute. So this was unplanned, so I just need to grab some cardstock, and I'm just trying to remember which colour family Real Red is in, and it is in the Regals. They moved it, so this is Real Red. It used to be in the Brights, but when we had the colour refresh, it was moved into the Regals with Cherry Cobbler, and Poppy Parade took its place incidentally. So I'm just going to cut literally 1/8 of an inch, because you can on this trimmer. Inch strips. Super accurate cutting. I think it'd be just as easy to cut that on the cardstock, so that's good. So I'm just going to use a teensy amount of wet glue along that edge. Dries clear, so it won't be visible if it does stray outside the lines. And if it does, and you have one, an adhesive remover takes that away really nicely. Stampin' Up don't carry them anymore, but they are available elsewhere. Right, I'm going to let that set before I give it a little bit of a haircut on the ends, which I'll be able to do with my paper snips. Okay, so that's really made that pop now for me. I think that looks really, really nice. And Jill did a bit of paper piecing, so kind of kind of similar, trying to get pieces of paper into place. So we'll leave that to one side to dry, and we'll just bring in this other stamped image. My markers that I use, these Stampin' Blend markers, and I have got the dark Poppy Parade, and I've got the light and dark Cherry Cobbler inks. Okay, so I'm going to use the darkest colour first, down in the base of those petals and along the veins. Not going to spend too much time on this. The petals are going to be layered together and everything, so it's really just to give a bit of depth rather than just a flat colour to the petals. Just a hint of this other colour in between here and there. No particular places, I'm just sort of putting it here and there because the veins on poinsettias, they're almost, it doesn't really have a very solid colour to it. It's quite an interesting petal on a poinsettia. They're more like leaves, aren't they? In fact, I don't know whether they are actually specialised leaves or not. They could be. The centre I had already coloured, and that's with dark So Saffron. Just going over the entirety of that now, which will blend out the dark colour slightly without removing it entirely. And then that's our coloured image. Okay, so it's got the depth without being too fussy, and the die fits really beautifully. So I look for this wibbly petal here, and oops, it fits over that beautifully. Run that through the die cut machine. So like I say, base platform number 1, thin die platform number 2, and then 2 cutting plates number 3. And that pops out as easy as that. So we just want to layer these together now. Just a smidge of glue in the middle of those two, and we want to offset the petals. So I'm just going to check that my wibbly one isn't on the same side as the other one, and interlock those together slightly as well. Oh, I was going to anyway. It doesn't look like it's going to let me. They're too chunky, but that's fine. We'll just lay them over each other like so. Just offset the petals so that they don't look the same, and they're ready to go. Okay, let's give this one its little haircut. These are the Stampin' Up's paper snips, and these are sharp all the way to the end, so you can actually, I only need to get the very tip of my scissors in underneath that little strip of card to be able to cut that away. They are super sharp, hence they've got this guard on them. Okay, so these aren't quite dry yet, but I just want to position them on the card dry so that I can work out where my sentiment is going to go. That's overhanging too much, isn't it? And that's got a bit of a bleed on the petals, so we'll twizzle that around so that it's hidden by the other one. It weighs around everything, you know. all these little teeny tiny boo-boos that no one will ever know are there. Unless you tell them, of course. Or you're watching me do it right here, right now. So, just want to decide where I'm going to put this sentiment, you see. So I don't know whether to, because it's quite long. So I don't know whether it needs to go. So I think I'd quite like to have it towards the bottom, but over here. So I was just wondering about the positioning of these. This one over. And having them more that angle. And then that will overlap ever so slightly, like so. Okay. And I think what we'll do is we will use the Coastal Cabana to bring that colour in as well. Strip off. And we'll use a strip of cardstock there. This as straight as possible on the paper. Somewhere there, I think. Yep, that looks alright. That looks alright. And then cut just a smidge off. The precision on this trimmer is fantastic. A smidge off there, like so. So we definitely want the this end cut blunt, like so. Okay, so we just want to get that cut down to, I'm going to use my trick with the tailored tag to cut that. Get it as close as I can to that letter. Okay, probably couldn't get it much closer. And I think we will need dimensionals behind the left hand portion of that, just so it sits over the poinsettia at the other end. So I'll have that in position. Okay, let's position these guys. Some wet glue on there. So I'm going to have him as far over as I dare on that side. That's probably a bit lower than I had it before. Make sure my dodgy petals are hidden on this one. Press those down, and then we can just put that wet glue. See, you've got a little bit of room just to move it slightly. There we are, that's better. I think as we're sticking this over the texture, I'm just going to put just a dab of that glue over the side just to help it bond. Lining up with that embossed portion. And then we just want our embellishments, and we'll be using the, I haven't used any of those yet, so this is good. I'm using something new. So we will be using the Coastal Cabana ones. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes of each of those, which is marvellous. I think we're going to go with the 2 smallest and the next one down, I think. Oh, let's not have it run away on us. So I'm just going to try and achieve my visual triangle that I like to use. So I've got 2 there, and then where's this one going to go? I do want it down here, but it kind of blends in a bit. Oh decisions, oh decisions. I maybe should have put those other ones somewhere else. There we are. Drop my lid to that, so I'll put that on in a minute. Okay. Nice and spontaneous. Gosh, it's been going in a long time. Doesn't feel like it's taken that long to do this card, but quite a bit of interest in there, a bit of die cutting, colouring, some embossing and everything, and yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. Hope you like it too. Like I say, all the links to the project share post that's kind of been the springboard to use these selection of products together is linked in the description bar. Do check them out and check out the other ladies' projects too. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks a lot for joining me today. Thank you. Bye bye.